I love a dessert that's two desserts in one. Hi everyone, it's Tash and welcome to another Wednesday recipe video. And today we are going to be making an impossible Ube Flan cake. Timestamps are down below and in the description if you want to skip the initial blah blah, but stick around if you want to hear a little bit about what we're making first. The original version of this cake is actually a chocolate version called chocoflan. It's a Mexican cake, also known as the impossible cake, because the way you layer it in the oven is caramel first, followed by sponge cake mixture, followed by flan mixture, and then in the oven when it bakes, the cake and the flan swap places. That's because the flan mixture is denser, so it sinks to the bottom, while the cake mixture, while it bakes, lots of little air bubbles are created, making it lighter, making it float to the top. So that's the original Mexican version, the chocoflan. Now, it has a Filipino cousin, Ube Flan cake, which is an ube flavoured version of it. It's usually made a little bit differently, so instead of putting the sponge cake in there first and then pouring the flan on top and it switching in the oven, you actually pour the flan in first, on top of the caramel of course, and then instead of a sponge cake, you make a really light airy chiffon cake, which is when you whisk up the egg whites until it's like a meringue. And then that mixture is so light you can actually float that on top of the uncooked flan, so it doesn't need to switch place in the oven, and then you bake it. I've never seen any Ube Flan cake recipes though that use the impossible cake method, so I'm going to do that today. I'm going to make an ube sponge cake, not a chiffon cake, and a regular old flan, and I'm going to do it the magic way where it flips in the oven. There is a third way of making flan cake actually, and that's to cook the flan first in the pan and then put the sponge on top. I've seen people use this method both for chocoflans and ube flan cakes. Some people consider it a little bit of a cheat because you're cooking them separately, so you have more control over each layer. I say do whatever works for you. So with all that said, let's go to the kitchen and see how it's done. First, let's preheat the oven to 180 degrees C. Now here I have 200 grams of caster sugar because we're going to make a caramel first. And over here I have a regular bundt tin, which I've greased very well with some butter, so we won't have any sticking, hopefully. What I'm going to do to make the caramel is turn the heat onto medium, and I'm going to keep stirring this, and what it's going to do is it's going to get clumpy and it's going to slowly turn golden brown and melt. And you do have to keep this moving, otherwise the sugar is going to caramelize unevenly, so you might get some burnt bits, some not burnt bits, so keep it moving. You can also give it swirls, but at this stage when it's dry, give it a stir. Oh, it has been 3 minutes and you can see it's just starting to turn. 5-minute check. As you can see, even more is caramelizing. Now at this stage, where most of it is caramelized, just got a little bit left that isn't, you will see that it is starting to go liquid as it properly melts. Again, keep stirring. It's been 9 minutes now, and it is melting very nicely. So we're going to take this off the heat and we're going to pour it into a bundt tin. Let me shift you over so you can see a bit more clearly. We're going to pour it all around on the inside. We're going to give the pan a swirl to coat the bottom. And now we're just going to leave it to set. To be honest, because it's quite a cold day, it has already set. Don't touch the bottom of the pan with your hands, by the way, because the caramel is hot. The tin is metal, it's going to conduct that heat. In fact, the top is already quite warm. If I were to touch the bottom, I would probably burn myself. And with that said, don't lick the pan either, because melted sugar is basically molten hot glue. It'll stick to you, it'll burn. And this is easy to clean, by the way. Just put some hot water in it, let it soak a bit, it'll dissolve. Now, while this cools down, let's get on with making the rest of the cake. Now we're going to make the flan. Here I have 150 grams of mascarpone cheese. You can use full fat cream cheese, but I prefer this because it's fattier and richer. And I'm going to thin it out with a whole can of evaporated milk. Let's add it gradually first. Whisk a bit in so it gets a bit thinner and easier to work with. And by the way, all the time when I'm whisking this, I'm keeping my whisk at the bottom, connected to the bottom of the thing, the jug, because we don't want to whip it, that is, lift the whisk and whip, because we don't want air bubbles in this, and we are inevitably going to add some air bubbles into this by accident as we mix it all together. but we don't want too many because we want a nice smooth flan. So at this stage I'm going to add in 3 eggs. Future Tash here, 4 eggs. It's 4 eggs. I have a little piece of paper that I write my recipes down on so I can take a glance at them while I cook, and we use eggs later on in the recipe again, and my eye skipped to that line where you do need 3 eggs, but for the flan you need 4. So just imagine I've added the 4th, which I did actually add off screen just before I started making the sponge cake part. A whole tin of condensed milk, this is the sweetened stuff. And a teaspoonful of vanilla bean paste. You can use vanilla extract, but this is thicker and I don't want to introduce too much like really slushy liquid into it. Because again, I want this nice and thick and smooth when it sets. And we're also going to give this a good old stir together. Again, being careful not to whip too much air into it. Lovely, now we're going to set this aside. Now, let's make the ube sponge cake. Here I have 170 grams of margarine. This is actually stork. Well, it's the Aldi version of stork, which I think is called Perfect for Baking. And I very rarely use margarine in my cakes because I prefer butter, it tastes better. But for cakes that I refrigerate, I use margarine. And that's because it doesn't solidify hard. If you put a butter cake in the fridge, your sponge is going to get hard. This is a refrigerated cake. I'm going to use margarine so it'll stay nice and soft no matter the temperature. To add to that, 170 grams of caster sugar. And I'm going to whiz these up. And I forgot to turn on the mains. Once it's pale and fluffy, we're going to add 3 eggs. Give that a whiz too. Now we're going to add 170 grams of self-raising flour and a little pinch of salt. And I'm going to whiz this until it's just combined. Remember, this is a sponge cake, so we don't want to overbeat that flour and make it tough, so just until it's combined. Now, of course, we need some ube, and I've got some Ube flavour here, which is McCormick's brand. I like it because it's also purple. I'm going to add about a teaspoonful. If you have uncoloured ube flavouring, then add a bit of extra purple food colouring. And to make sure this cake is nice and moist, I'm going to add 3 tablespoonfuls of milk. And again, whiz gently until just combined. Nice! There are a few bits of unmixed cake batter around the sides, so I'm just going to give it a pass with my spatula. Make sure all that colour is nice and even. And now we're ready to put everything together. Remember our caramelised friend? We are going to put this in cake first. So scoop our ube cake in. Okay, there's no exact science to this. After all, the layers are going to flip, so it is pretty forgiving at this point. And finally, we're going to pass our flan through a sieve straight on top. This is going to get rid of any little eggy bits that haven't really whisked in, and also get rid of some of the air bubbles and make sure it's really smooth. And now, because we need to, oh look, the cake's already rising, we're going to cover the top with some foil because we don't want it to burn. Now we need to give it a bath. Let's move over here. I've placed the whole cake tin in a nice big roasting tin. Oh, let me try and adjust the brightness so you can see. And I'm going to half fill this, the outside only, with boiling water. This is hot. I'm going to get some gloves. I'm going to bake this for a whole hour, so I will see you in an hour. Safety first. It has been a full hour. Let's very carefully, without touching anything because it's hot, peel off our foil. Wow, that looks amazing. Just going to do the toothpick test. If it's done, it will come out clean. Pick it right in the centre. Perfect. Okay, now we need to let this cool down completely to room temperature, and then we're going to cover it again and pop it in the fridge overnight because this needs to chill before we turn it out. Alright, it's time for the moment of truth. I am very nervous. I've got a massive plate here. It just about covers it. I cannot find anything bigger. I'm gonna flip it. Well guys, I ended up having to do that off screen because I really had to bash it out, but in the end, we have an Ube Flan cake. I have to say I wasn't expecting the best out of that tin because the tin's not very defined. I really want a new one. Anyway, let's cut this open. I'm going to take a slice from here. Here we are with slightly better lighting. Look at the purple. I don't know why every time I try and make this cake, I get bubbles in the flan part. I've tried baking at a lower temperature, a bit less time, always get bubbles. Maybe it's my oven. Anyway, let's dig in. Lovely layers. Like I said, I really had to give the cake tin a good bashing off screen because I didn't want to break my table. If you find your cake a little bit difficult to release, then fill your sink full of hot water and dip the tin in so that helps release the sides a little bit. But for me, giving it a good slam on a chopping board worked. Anyway, I was very restrained. I didn't eat that slice that I took just now. Let me just grab it. There we go. Cheers. Perfectly cooked. Remember when I said using margarine instead of butter was the way to go for refrigerated cakes? Absolutely correct. That is so light and spongy, and the creamy flan goes so well with that ube cake. And it just looks so pretty too. I'm still a bit sad that once again my flan cake got bubbles in the flan, but you never know, maybe one day I'll be able to make it without the bubbles. So there you go, a magical, impossible ube flan cake. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's recipe video and I hope you'll join me next Wednesday for my next one. Get the full written recipe on my blog tashcakes.com, follow me on Instagram, I'm tashcakes.tastes, and find me on TikTok too, I'm tashcakes there too, but my handle is food in slow motion. Subscribe and hit the notification bell if you'd like to see more. Give this video a like if you'd like it to help other people find it. Comment down below if you'd like me to make anything in particular, and I'll see you all next time. Be good, be nice, and have a good week. I really do need a new bunting though, my one's so old and so scratched up inside.